Good morning, Reg.
Good morning, Theodore.
Did you watch
and my Danette.
Did you watch the game last night?
I did. What a great college game. And I think a few weeks ago we were talking about, the college football landscape and why are they having all these bowl games. And I said, look, to me it's the two bowls that really matter, the Final Four. And I know the Michigan game was a great bowl game, don't get me wrong, but this was arguably one of the greatest bowl games, especially for a national championship, that I personally have ever seen. Because you're right, and great boxing analogy, because to me, I thought Alabama kind of went to, prevent. When they were up 14-0, they had a chance to go up 21, 24-0 and really put this game away. And I thought they played conservative in the first half, and Cleveland just hung around and stayed close, stayed within striking distance, waiting for their opportunity for that overhand right, and we saw a lot of those overhand rights in that second half.
I know that leading into this game, I said that it's better for college football if Clemson wins than Alabama wins again, although I thought one of the storylines would be Nick Saban's place in history. He still has a pretty secure spot in history, but the point that I bring up, Reg, is Bill Simmons on his podcast said that Saban's a coward because he doesn't coach in the NFL. You don't coach with the best. And my point is, if that's the case, then there have been a lot of cowards in college sports.
So is Coach K a coward then?
Yes.
That's the
point.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to say because he has coached in the NFL with Miami. Was it very successful?
And maybe Bill Simmons is joking. Maybe he's joking. Maybe it's tongue in cheek.
He probably was joking, but to call someone a coward, he probably was joking about it. But in my opinion, Nick Saban is the greatest college coach ever. And I know that people are saying, well, what about Bear Bryant? To me, in today's age of recruiting and more teams, I think he is the greatest collegiate coach ever to play the game, no matter if they won last night or not. Just for the simple fact of what he has done with that Alabama program, year in, year out, they are always battling for the national championship. And again, they have another great recruiting class coming in, and they just turn it over. And to be in the national championship game with a true freshman quarterback, that was pretty amazing. And to do that all throughout the SEC is something. So, in my opinion, he's the greatest.
But does it take anything away from Coach K that he hasn't coached in the NBA, flirted with the Lakers?
Absolutely not. Is John Wooden a coward because he never, coached in the NBA? No. There's some guys that are tailor-made for the pros, tailor-made for college, tailor-made for high school. That was your calling. This is Coach K's, John Wooden's, Nick Saban. Maybe this is their calling. Why does it have to be at the highest professional level for everyone to say, oh, okay, well, now he's the greatest? No. Would Phil Jackson, would Red Auerbach be as successful in the college game? Who knows? That was their calling. So, I love Bill Simmons, but to call someone a coward because he's not doing it at the highest level, kind of ridiculous to me.
He's the Hall of Famer Reggie Miller joining us. Speaking of Phil Jackson, the Knicks lost their point guard, Derrick Rose. They couldn't find him, or he lost the Knicks last night. I know even if it's a family emergency, Reggie, I just can't imagine somebody not being at least attentive enough to spend 30 seconds to say, I won't be there for the game last night. What's your big question here with Derrick Rose going MIA?
Well, once again, it's the befuddling of my beloved Knicks. And I'm going to give you proper protocol on family emergencies when things happen. Normally, as a player, this is what I would have done, and this is what most players would do. I would have called Donnie Walsh, the general manager, president of the Pacers, and told him whatever the family emergency was. Probably when I hung up the phone, the next phone call would have been to David Craig, the head trainer, because he has a direct line right into the coach. I would have called David, told him what the emergency was, and that would have been it. I am not going to, get on Derrick Rose because you and I don't know what the family emergency was. So we're all human. Even though we're athletes, we're human and things happen. What I do have a problem with is not calling someone and letting them know that. And for the simple fact that for the whole game, even afterwards, the Knicks had no idea where he was. And it's not fair to Coach Jeff Hornacek to get in front of the firing squad called the New York media and for them to pepper him with all these questions, and he has zero answers. To me, those questions and those answers need to be coming from Phil Jackson, not the head coach. That's what I have a problem with. Phil needs to get in front of the firing squad. He was at the game. He knew Derrick Rose wasn't there. Why wasn't he doing his own reconnaissance and getting ahead of the story, getting in front of the media and saying, or himself having their own NBA security, try to locate Derrick Rose? I want to hear from Phil Jackson, not Jeff Hornacek. God bless him, but this is not the head coach's job to be a babysitter. Phil Jackson's the one who brought Derrick Rose in. I want to hear from Phil.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't think it was fair to Hornacek to coach a game and then all of a sudden go in and, how much does he know? When did they know Rose was not going to be playing in the game? And even if it's a family emergency, somebody should have known something because the Knicks look like they're not all on the same page. It was pretty embarrassing.
And Theodore, this is not a story if the Knicks have not lost 8 of 9. This is not a story if the Knicks at home versus New Orleans Pelicans, and yes, they've played better as of late, but a 15-win team comes into the Garden and absolutely destroys you with Anthony Davis going for 40 and 18. So you put all that in the gumbo pot, you mix it on up, and then the MIA of Derrick Rose, a former MVP and a guy who was supposed to be the savior at point guard for you, who was brought in from the Hall of Famer Phil Jackson, and that's why it's a big story, because everyone's like, well, was he kidnapped? Did something happen to Derrick Rose? I mean, this is one of the most visible athletes on the planet in Derrick Rose, and you're playing in the number one media market in New York. So that's why it's such a big story, is because no one knew where Derrick Rose was. And that's the only problem I have with Derrick Rose. If you have a family emergency, I get it. We are all human, and you've got to handle your business. Go to Chicago and take care of that. But pick up the phone and call Phil Jackson, and then you call your head trainer, and then that's it. You don't even have to call the coach.
It's not a story.
The trainer's going to go,
Reg, it's not a story if he does that.
It will not be a story if you make the phone call. Because no one's going to say anything about a family emergency, because we are all human beings. But when you don't call, see, that's why it makes it look like it's more than a family emergency.
Yes.
He's been benched the last 2 games in the fourth for Ron Baker, the rookie out of Wichita State. Brandon Jennings has been benched. The point guard play has been terrible. And he was at the shoot-around at 11 o'clock going over things. And to me, if you're a head coach and your other players, you know what's going on in that locker room. You know if Derrick Rose is upset about the benching. And if you think that he's going through the motions or he's sulking, you can kind of tell something's on the horizon. To me, that's why I think it's more than a family emergency. But again, people, I'm just saying this, Dan, Theodore, my Danettes, and myself, we don't know. We don't know what the family emergency was. We're only going by what everyone is speculating. So that's why I can't get on them for that. But pick up the damn phone and call Phil Jackson and call the trainer, and it would be no story.
Cavs traded for Kyle Korver. What's this mean? And do you see the Cavs, is this it? Do they make any more moves?
I don't. And I think what initially when this first happened, I thought, well, J.R. Smith is probably going to be out a little bit longer than what we expected. Some people thought he was going to come back right after the All-Star break. Some said maybe going into the first round of the playoffs. It's an insurance policy, and if I'm Kyle Korver, I'm looking to the heavens and I'm saying, thank you, Jesus. Because this is one of, if not the best catch and shoot three-point players maybe in history. And to be perched in that short three-point corner or at the trailing on fast breaks, and to have LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, who are fantastic at collapsing the defense, just I want you to put on your little baby bib and just sit in that corner and look pretty. You know, Dirty Dancing, no one puts baby in the corner. Kyle Korver, go stay in that corner and just relax and chill, and we'll get to you. And that's all he has to do. So to me, great pickup. Fabulous pickup.
Reggie Aloysius Miller will try to sell Detroit against Golden State Thursday.
It's Golden State. It's Reggie Jackson. It's Stan Van Gundy. Andre Drummond. That's a good sell.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. 10:30 Eastern on TNT. Reg, safe travels. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Theodore, you are absolutely the best. And if I could do one thing for 1 year and take off from TNT, I would be a pro mountain biker, cross-country / enduro. I wish I could take a year off and just travel around and do all the top courses and be a pro mountain biker.
No
It
kidding.
would be a dream come true, yes. That would be my 1 year away from Turner.
Well, you do get 6 months off from Turner. Can't you just do it then?
I need the other 6 months.
You'll need the other 6 months to recover.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Reg.
You're the best, guys.
That's Reggie Aloysius Miller. I wouldn't expect that with Reg, doing a little mountain biking.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.